morning, guys. Welcome to King Creek. Today we're going to take some of our roosters out of the chicken coop and send them to freezer camp. This spring when we bought all of our chicks, we bought 10 of them and 4 turned out to be roosters, which is better than we thought we would do, but there's too many of them. From reading online, it looks like you need to have like 1 rooster for every 10 hens, and our ratio is just a little out of whack. So I'm not going to film any of the goriness of today, but I'm going to, kind of show you all the prep work and maybe the end product. I'm going to take this table and sterilize it, and then this is where I'll kind of do the butchering. But I'm not going to pluck the birds. These aren't meat chickens, and if they were, we probably would. But we're just going to skin them, and we'll probably just make like, some gumbo, chicken noodle soup, stuff like that. That's a soup type dish where the meat doesn't have to be super fatty and flavorful. So we're just trying to make some use of what we got. So that's a rooster, that's a rooster, that's a rooster, and that's a rooster. The rest of them are hens. This red one hardly ever comes down because there's just so much aggressiveness towards her for some reason. So we've decided that he's the one we're going to keep because he's kind of the most docile of the 4. And the other ones are going to go away.
So Stetson skinned all of the roosters, and I brought them in the house, cleaned them up, and vacuum sealed each one as a whole chicken. So this is what they look like. They actually ended up having a lot more meat on them than we anticipated. So we're going to stick these in the freezer and pull them out this winter for gumbo or chicken and dumplings, things like that. So it's been about a week since Stetson butchered the roosters. Our hens seem so much happier now that there's only 1 rooster. Before he butchered them, the hens spent the majority of their time roosting in the rafters of the chicken coop. Now we come out here and pretty much all day they're just scratching around and just seem so much more free now that they don't have the pressure of all those roosters down there with them.
Okay, so I wanted to kind of talk about how the butchering went. I know I didn't show any of it, so you just have to use your imagination. But the table I used was just a fold-out plastic table, which is fine. I don't mind cutting on it and everything else and getting it nasty. But it was just really low, so the whole time I was, working, I was like bending over, and my back started hurting through the day. And it wasn't level there, so the birds kind of kept sliding because it was wet. So getting a better table situation would have been ideal, or at least just raising that one up. Later on, ended up using a chair and like sitting there, and that wasn't bad. It was just by that point my back was hurting already. And that was only 3 roosters. So, in the future, we want to eventually have some meat birds and other animals, but chickens in particular. If I was doing anything more than 3, I need to have a better system. So we've got this stainless table that it's meant to be like an outdoor sink. I need to cut it a little better to make the sink fit in there, but this whole thing will be a future project. I think we'll probably mount it somewhere over on the other side of this pergola we're on. But I need to run water to it. I need to set the drain up so it's not just nasty water all over the place. So we'll do that maybe before next time we butcher anything else. But this would be very nice. But even if you just are using the plastic table, just kind of think through, okay, I'm going to be standing here for a couple hours. Let me make sure it's comfortable. Mallory ended up cooking gumbo with one of the roosters that we put away, and it tasted just fine. So don't be worried about that. I did one pass real quick just to kind of fluff things back up again. I did last, 2 weeks ago. I've got some oats left over and some Austrian winter peas from some other projects. So I'm gonna go spread that real quick and then disc it in, and we're supposed to get some rain in probably 2 hours. I might get wet doing this. This is the poor man's way of spreading seed. Here's how the food plot is looking after a little over a week. Um, the rain didn't come that we were expecting the day that we planted. It actually rained about 3 days ago is when it started, and it rained for kind of on and off since then. Here's where I was like filling up a bucket and I dropped a bunch. This is all Austrian winter peas right here, but you can tell they've kind of started sprouting and everything. You walk out here and you can see I planted a bunch of them really densely. There's 3 of them there. There's a couple there. Here's how the food plot looks after 2 weeks. The Austrian winter peas are about 4 inches tall, maybe taller in some places. It hasn't rained a whole lot, so I'm pretty impressed with how quick it came up and how well it's done. The deer were in here last night. We took the dogs out and caught them in here. So even with a little pressure, it's doing pretty good. Like I said, I planted it very dense, so I'm just hoping that that they don't overtake it too quick.
So it's mid-September. We have been holding off on planting our fall garden, even though we technically could according to like the planting schedule. We've been in a pretty severe drought, but we got 3 inches of rain in the last week, and there have been chances of rain throughout this week and next week. So we feel a little more confident that the drought is ending. We are still in a drought, but the temperature is lowering and things are just looking like they're going to trend better and cooler. We are planting turnip greens, carrots, collard greens, cabbage, Brussels sprouts, radishes, spinach, and kale. So we're probably overdoing it for our first fall garden, but we want to give all these things a try. We know we love collard greens and they're easy to grow, and Stetson loves turnip greens. We'll probably do at least a row of each of those, and then maybe half a row of all the others.
We didn't mention it when we were making the garden, but we switched up the type of rows that we made. We actually intended to do this in the for our summer garden, and I just kind of got carried away when I was using the tractor and the middle buster to make the plows. I mean, to make the rows with the middle buster. It is a plow. But anyways, I made kind of just a normal row with it, just the way that the tires and the plow landed. So this time we wanted to try out this like market garden style. They're 30-inch wide beds, and the walking paths are supposed to be 18 inches. I'm a little thin in this one, but the point of that was so I can get the tiller in there, just so it's comfortable to walk in. When some of these plants get too big, you don't have a lot of room. So we're all about bigger walking paths. So today was the first time it's really rained on these. So I watered the garden last night, trying to maybe help get some seeds sprouting. It doesn't look like that happened, but also just wanted to kind of help maybe compact the soil a little bit, just keep it from washing away. Just because we're not sure how well these will do in a heavy rain with nothing growing yet. But so far the rain's been light, so I think they're going to be okay.